Every day, hundreds of thousands of patrolmen report for duty, armed with a badge and the latest in video technology. You are about to witness their never-before-seen footage, their stories caught on tape. Now, on disorderly conduct. This guy's on a roll. This guy's out for a spin. And these guys let it slide. From shootouts to break-ins. Some serious disorderly conduct is coming down. Grand Rapids, Michigan. A state trooper thinks he's simply following a vehicle with an out-of-date license plate. Little does he know that the driver is a 19-year-old kid who's wanted for felony home invasion. The first hint of trouble comes when the young man tries to speed away from the veteran officer. The state trooper stays with the SUV as the teen does his best to get around traffic. Speed soon hit the century mark as the pursuit barrels down US 131. The teen isn't about to let little things like other cars slow him down. As the pursuit races through the Michigan countryside, the trooper tries to pull alongside. But the suspect counters by cutting him off. Just down the road, the officer goes for it again, and this time the cars collide. It's an amazing scene as the teen hangs on for his life as the SUV rolls. The kid is uninjured, but he's still in a world of hurt. He later pleads guilty to felony flight, and he still has to answer to the home invasion charges. Gregg County, Texas. State Trooper Joseph Hogue pulls over a truck with a cattle trailer.
Do you have a driver's license and insurance card with you? I've got my insurance, but the driver's license at home. You have ID with you, sir? I left my vehicle over there at home. This your truck? Yes, sir. This is my dad's name.
Reportedly driving with expired tags and illegal tinted windows. No license and no ID. This is not a very promising start. Back at the trooper's car, things become a little clearer.
This thing okay on the driver passing? As far as I know. Are you worried about it? Yes, a little bit. I can tell. What might be an issue? Suspension, warrant, or what? No suspension. Maybe a blue warrant. A blue warrant? Maybe, I don't know.
A blue warrant means a possible parole violation.
Okay, you don't have nothing in your pockets, do you? I got no pocket knife right here.
And that means he has two choices. Go to jail right now, or he can run. Not the fastest getaway in the world, but it's on. Trooper Hogue hangs back while another trooper puts out spike strips ahead of the chase. At 70 miles an hour, the suspect veers onto the shoulder and dodges the spikes. Another dash cam picks up the chase as more units respond. The danger only increases as the suspect approaches busy streets and barrels through red lights. At the next town, he takes a sharp left turn through a gas station. Then he guns it down the wrong side of the road. Every turn this guy takes is a potential disaster in the making. With 3 dash cams rolling on the action, Trooper Hogue pulls up to the truck, pulls out his gun, and fires rounds at the right front tire. But the tire holds, and the suspect is still moving and threatening everything in his path. He's off-road again, nearly plowing into a man on a bike. Cops prepare for another shot at the tires. An officer in the passenger seat of the cruiser at the left has a shotgun at the ready. He hits near the hubcap, which goes flying. He bangs along the side of the road, nearly hitting an innocent driver and throwing debris everywhere. But you can only get so far in a rig like this with a shot front tire. And the end of the road is pretty much like it began. Off-road. The suspect takes off on foot with cops hot on his heels. He's caught on the scene and booked for evading arrest and state jail felony for parole violation. One officer was bitten on the finger during the arrest, the only injury in a truly dangerous pursuit that could have killed at any moment. State Trooper Jonathan Ferris responds to a minor traffic accident after a heavy snowfall in St. Paul, Minnesota. He talks with a tow truck driver off camera to the right, then heads for the accident scene. Light traffic moves along the freeway without much trouble as the trooper approaches the 2 drivers. Around here, they're used to driving on ice. But as he's about to find out, you can never take that for granted. A fast-moving car veers out of control and slams into the parked car, sending Trooper Ferris and the 2 men flying. The force of the impact turns the car sideways, with the trooper and another man thrown several yards into a ditch. It's a frightening accident, but there's a lot of luck involved. Trooper Ferris suffers a broken arm and elbow, and the 2 other men sustained minor injuries. The woman behind the wheel was also not seriously hurt. But you'd never know any of that by the looks of this tape. There's lots more disorderly conduct straight ahead. This driver takes out a fence. And this driver tries to take out a cop. It's all next on Disorderly Conduct. It's a standoff just a few blocks from the University of Southern California campus in Los Angeles. This began as a simple traffic stop, but every time an LAPD officer gets out to talk with the driver, he takes off. After this short break in the action, the man hits the gas pedal again. It's immediately clear that the suspect has no respect for traffic laws. After briefly going the wrong direction, he runs stop signs and red lights. When he picks up speed, ground units back off for safety purposes, but the chopper isn't about to let him escape. As he heads through this neighborhood, the SUV starts to fishtail. Residents plan to have their trash picked up today, but it's a safe bet they didn't plan on this. It isn't long before the driver takes one chance too many at a busy intersection. It's quite a sight as the speeding SUV swerves to avoid oncoming cars and ends up crashing through a fence. With guns drawn, officers slowly converge, expecting to find the suspect injured. But unbelievably, this guy still isn't ready to call it quits. He seems to be looking for an escape route as he hangs on to part of the fence he hit. 4 officers finally pry him loose and take him into custody. He's booked for felony evading, and he can expect to be billed to fix that fence. Three men in Cassopolis, Michigan have a lot to learn when it comes to creative ways to get rich quick. They seem to think they can make the big bucks by using a pickup truck to steal an ATM. A half-dozen cameras roll as they back the truck through the window of this closed service station. The driver stays at the wheel while his 2 partners in crime head straight for the money machine. The only problem is the ATM is bolted down. So the truck gives it a nudge. The call goes out for another hit. At this point, the failed thieves decide to call it a night and head back to the truck. But after a quick conference, they decide to give it one more crack. The persistent pair do their best to pry the machine loose, but it still refuses to budge. Finally, they're forced to make a withdrawal, but not the kind they're hoping for. The men head back to the truck and leave empty-handed. Eventually, thanks to this tape, the trio of would-be thieves are caught and charged with breaking and entering. And because of the damage they caused, they're hit with a rather hefty ATM fee. $25,000. It's a rainy day in St. Paul, Minnesota, where a trooper tails this red station wagon. The driver fits the description of a man wanted on several felony warrants, so the officer flips on his flashing lights. The suspect pulls over almost immediately, but the lawman knows he must be ready for anything. When the officer approaches the car, the driver refuses to step out or even roll down his window. Despite continued commands, the man makes it clear that he's not going to cooperate. After talking with headquarters, the officer threatens to break the window with his flashlight. After one last warning, it's time for action. Suddenly, the driver points a gun and the trooper runs for cover. Then both men open fire. When it's over, the officer escapes unharmed, but the suspect is shot. A cocked and loaded revolver is found next to the driver, and a legal review later cleared the trooper of any wrongdoing. Just seconds away on disorderly conduct. Life is the pits for this driver. And if you're ever riding with a cop, you'd better take his advice.
Just in case the fool comes out and starts shooting. You put your head down, you hear me?
That's next on Disorderly Conduct. A chopper follows the action as police in Los Angeles try to run down a suspect wanted for vandalism. He's already rammed a police cruiser and damaged his steering, but he keeps going. An officer moves in to attempt a pit maneuver, but the suspect doesn't make it easy. A few miles later, another attempt almost does the trick. The officer looks like he gets the worst of it with a torn-up front end, but the suspect gets away and the chase resumes. Coming onto a street with plenty of room to safely move, the officer tries it again, but just misses by a hair. Moments later, yet another attempt. And once again, no dice. Until finally, the officer lines up for a real good shot. It looks like a perfect pit, except for a couple of things. The officer crashes into a storefront, and the suspect keeps on running. By now, he's feeling pretty lucky. He runs a light at a big intersection and somehow finds a way to keep the cops at bay. Until now. A textbook pit maneuver. Can't do any better than that. Plus, it's capped off with the cruiser ramming the suspect head-on. And what does the suspect do? What he always does, he keeps on running. For a second, anyway. A solid shot to the midsection. And the chase is still going. The suspect delivers a parting shot to a cruiser and heads off down the road. And down the road, he leads a virtual slow-speed chase parade as officers wait for their next chance. But they'll never get that chance because the suspect is going to end the chase himself. He gets out of the car and actually asks the cops to shoot him. So they do. With pepper spray. This infuriates the suspect who goes after the cop. Not a good move. He's buried under a pile of men in blue and put in handcuffs and leg restraints. The suspect is booked for assault and fleeing. He may have set a record for surviving multiple pit maneuvers. But in the end, he only added to a crime record of his own. Police work a sobriety checkpoint in Princeton, Kentucky. Everybody has to stop, including this car with 3 men inside at the left of your screen. The driver stops all right, but when an officer approaches the car, he's gone. Sergeant L.D. Robertson jumps in his car with a local reporter riding along.
I got him.
And takes off after the suspect. But there's a small problem.
What's wrong?
The suspect is moving upwards of 100 miles an hour, and the sergeant's car is stuck in low gear.
Stand by.
He gets the problem fixed and puts it to the floor. There's the suspect, dead ahead. But it won't be easy getting him to stop because the chase is really cooking.
Mark down the speed, 110.
And getting hotter every second.
Mark down the speed, 120, 120. Make it 125, 125.
But the sergeant is already looking ahead to how it might end.
He stops, but I go to get out. You put your head down, you hear me? Just in case the fool comes out and starts shooting. He don't know you're nobody, but you might think you're a cop. Just get your head down.
And he gives his ride-along a job to do if things start hitting the fan.
If he stops, I want you to turn my siren on for me here. The little button right there.
This could be it. The chase is coming up on another police roadblock.
Remember what I told you.
But the suspect finds a loophole and is still going strong.
He's headed to town. He's headed into Hopkinsville. Just hang on, man.
Hopkinsville. It won't be easy getting away from the sergeant around here.
He's going down side street. Buddy, you don't know it, but I'm from Hopkinsville. My brakes are hot.
The sergeant nearly skids into the car at an intersection. Around the corner, he draws up next to the suspect, who tries to ram him off the road. That's when the sergeant rams back. The suspect spins out of control off to the side of the road. Two of the suspects get away for now. A third is placed under arrest.
That's your car, buddy. I hadn't looked at it yet.
Turns out the car was reportedly stolen from a used car lot. And wouldn't you know it, the last owner was a police officer.
You belong to one of our sergeants. Still got his paperwork in there. Is that right?
What goes around comes around. Sheriff's Deputy Craig Apple is hot on the trail of a fleeing suspect who's behind the wheel of a pickup truck in Burlington, North Carolina. The man is suspected of at least 6 purse-snatching robberies and beatings, all against elderly women. But now he's dealing with someone closer to his own size, and he's not handling it very well. There's no limit to where this guy will run, even on the wrong side of the road and through a red light. But when the suspect turns off the main road, Deputy Apple sees a chance to reel him in. But not before the suspect tries to take the deputy out, slamming on his brakes and causing a collision. The deputy is unfazed and lines up a pit maneuver of his own. The pit hits hard. And now the truck is out of control as it flies down a neighborhood street. No one in this chase is aware of the disaster looming up ahead. Inside the car, directly in the path of the speeding truck, is an 8-year-old girl. Just off camera, a frightening crash. Missing the car and the little girl by inches as the truck slams into a pole. Off camera, the driver flees and is tackled by Deputy Apple. The suspect is sentenced to 14 years in prison for being a habitual felon. Don't go away. Disorderly conduct is just getting started. This driver gets spiked. This suspect gets tased. And these guys get a big surprise. You'll get it all on Disorderly Conduct. A A suspected bank robber is on the run from police as a TV news chopper gets the action in Jackson, Mississippi. The suspect nearly loses control as he speeds along the shoulder of the road. And this chase is about to go wild. He nearly hits a pickup truck. As he swerves off-road and climbs an embankment. Then he reverses direction as cops stay with the chase. But there's another obstacle ahead. With expert timing, an officer tosses a spike strip under the suspect's car, taking out the left front tire. The lead officer moves in for a pit maneuver as the suspect's car begins throwing smoke. Finally, the suspect is forced off the road. He loses the front tire, but keeps moving. Uphill and onto another roadway, where he tosses something out the window. In fact, it's a semi-automatic handgun dropped in a place where it will be easily recovered by police. A few yards more and the suspect rolls to a stop with a hand out the window. Cops swarm the car with guns drawn, and the suspect is pulled out and cuffed. He is charged with armed robbery and fleeing. You're watching a potential drug deal go down in Rusk County, Texas. The man thinks he's buying a large amount of methamphetamine. His buddy is just off camera on the far right of the screen.
Walked up to the gun and I told him to pull the knife. He was like, he just rock. I put down my face. I was like, homie, you just don't know.
Little do they know that the guy sitting in between them is a recently busted dealer who's now working for the law in hopes of getting a lighter sentence. A hidden camera rolls as thousands of dollars exchange hands. As the fake dealer heads to the back of the room, the buyer inquires about what else he has to offer. After telling him that ecstasy is not on the menu today, the man leaves to supposedly get the meth. But once he shuts the door, it's a signal for some surprise guests to join this little get-together. Narcotics officers swoop in from various areas of the house where they've been monitoring every move. In case there's any question, a cop wants to make sure the suspect on the couch knows who he's dealing with. Less than 90 seconds after their grand entrance, the officers escort the men from the room. The pair are later convicted of engaging in organized criminal activity, which is a felony. Highway patrol officers are in hot pursuit of a carjacking suspect outside Mansfield, Ohio. The suspect is up ahead in a Ford Windstar that was allegedly jacked near the city's downtown. Speeds hit 90 miles an hour as the chase flies down this highway in the north-central part of the Buckeye State. After 5 miles, the driver pulls off the main drag. Then he hangs a quick left and drives into this open field. Moments later, the driver exits the vehicle with something in his hand. Yes, that's a can of beer. For some reason, he thinks this is a good time to take a swig. It isn't long before officers decide happy hour is over and move in for an arrest. The suspect runs a few yards before a taser brings him down to earth. He's quickly subdued and cuffed. The man is taken to a hospital where he admits to the carjacking. He's later convicted of the crime and is sentenced to a year in jail and 3 years probation. Just around the corner on disorderly conduct. How not to exit the freeway. And how not to be a good customer. Stay tuned for more disorderly conduct. Trooper Chris LaPrairie believes this driver's drunk. He's trying to make a safe stop on this Reno, Nevada road when the suspect loses control. The truck slams into the barrier, almost turns over, but somehow lands back on its wheels as the trooper pulls up behind the accident. The truck's badly damaged, and now the man has to answer to charges of driving under the influence and possession of drug paraphernalia. It's not your typical robbery in Ontario, Canada. Keep your eye on the man walking into this busy store full of customers. No gun, no mask, no words exchanged with the cashier. He wants money. He wants it now, and he's going for it. The employees back off and let him have his way. But the cash register is putting up a lot of resistance. Robbery is hard work, and this guy needs a little more room to get the job done. He climbs over the counter again and takes it to a whole new level of cash register battery. Yes, modern technology can be a very frustrating thing to deal with, especially with police on the way. The suspect struggles a little more with the register, but it never gives up the cash. And so he gives up the attempt and heads back into the night, leaving everyone else to put the place back together again. Who would think that all you really need to do is push the right button? Lots of folks speed along South Carolina's Interstate 95, but most have the common sense to stop for police. But that's not the case today, as this driver refuses to pull over. This started out as a simple stop for tailgating, but obviously that's now only an afterthought. At one point, speeds hit a terrifying 110 miles an hour as the pursuit barrels down this stretch of road about halfway between New York and Miami. Finally, just outside the city of Florence, the call goes out for spike strips. Officers take care of business up ahead, then moments later, the suspect's car takes a direct hit. Three of the car's 4 tires are spiked, and it isn't long before the driver starts to lose control. Seconds later, he careens into a concrete barrier. The vehicle then travels another 50 yards before rolling to a stop. With weapons drawn, troopers quickly move in. They see that the driver is okay, but he refuses to come out. Finally, with a little help, courtesy of the Highway Patrol, the man exits the car. So why did he run? He claims he just wasn't in the mood to stop. Whatever the reason, he's cited for failure to stop and careless operation of a motor vehicle. Next on Disorderly Conduct.
You been drinking? Well, it's kind of obvious. Yeah, you're right.
We've got more suspects who need to walk the line.
I can do that. Man, I'm drunk. No, I can't do that.
It's all coming up on Disorderly Conduct. Police in Bonifay, Florida stop a pickup for a broken headlight.
Got your driver's license on you? I see it.
The driver has alcohol on his breath and no intention of sticking around for a DUI.
Y'all come on, he's running, y'all come on.
The officer alerts his backup and takes off in pursuit.
West side of the bridge now, about 85 miles an hour.
Police want to end this chase as quickly as possible. The officer sees an opportunity to force the truck off the road. The cruiser slams the rear of the truck and sends it crashing into the brush. The driver makes a run for it while the passenger stays in the cab. Backup arrives to help chase down the driver. His passenger stays at the truck and offers no resistance. The driver emerges in cuffs and wearing a souvenir from his attempted escape.
Will you pull that bamboo off my head?
The man who ran from police to avoid a DUI gets one anyway. In addition, he's charged with fleeing and eluding police. And has his driver's license suspended for 5 years. His more mellow passenger, who simply surrendered to police, is arrested for possession of marijuana. The SWAT team moves in to make a drug bust at an apartment complex in Titusville, Florida. Police suspect a known crack dealer has opened shop in one of the units. Police rush by a man in a stairwell and dash up the stairs to a second-floor unit. The officer motions a team member forward to guard the man on the ground. SWAT announce their presence and race through the apartment searching for their suspect.
Police department search warrant! Mike! Police department search warrant!
They reportedly find their primary target in the bathroom, flushing crack cocaine down the toilet. The SWAT team moves in so quickly that they're able to recover much of the cocaine. Police also find a microwave oven and cookie sheet often used to convert powder cocaine into crack. The suspect is arrested and charged with manufacturing cocaine and tampering with physical evidence.
Left. Right. Left. You been drinking?
Bull. It's kind of obvious.
Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't take a law enforcement expert to know that this guy isn't operating on all cylinders.
Just go down there, stand down there. We're gonna talk about some tests. We want to stand down there for this.
In fact, the officer finds it amazing that the DUI suspect can stand it all. It seems the man got his pickup stuck in the mud before he was spotted wandering the streets of Largo, Florida.
You've been driving that truck. You're out here stuck in the mud now, driving this truck around the power lines. All right?
The suspect wants to know what the big deal is.
Man, I didn't do nothing wrong.
Get your truck stuck out here in the field. You're out here driving the truck and you're drunk.
Yeah. No.
Look at you. Look at you.
It appears the man is unable to walk the line. So the officer asks him to simply stand on it.
There's no way I can do that. Man, I'm drunk. Man, I can't do that.
It's a standard procedure to ask the suspect about his education, so he can't later claim he didn't understand the officer's questions.
I got 20 years of education. I graduated 10th grade twice.
Just when you think you've heard it all,
You graduated 10th grade twice.
Yeah.
well, at least he gets an A in creative math, and for that matter, in honesty.
You know I'm drunk.
But despite his education, he gets an F on his sobriety tests.
You close your eyes.
C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, O, P.
In case you fall down, I don't want you. I'm gonna catch you.
Oh, thanks, man. That's more than catfish would do.
And is booked for driving under the influence.
Really affects the alcohol you drink tonight.
No.
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 Cherry Sunday.